Hey everybody, welcome back to another video where we discuss what's new with the OpenZiti BrowZer stack. Today I wanted to show you some new hotkey support, which brings up a new settings dialog to allow you to control your client-side log. And this is a modal dialog that will probably be expanded to allow you to control other things in the future. And I also wanted to mention some new CI that produces a hashed artifact name, which should solve some problems we've seen in the past when new deploys happen and people out in the wild are continuing to use old, obsolete artifacts. So let me get started here. Log into our BrowZerMost stack. I'm going to hover over this little toast message for a moment to point out a new thing that you may not have seen before, which is this labeling of the hotkey. So since the Ziti BrowZer runtime is headless, it has no UI, its mission in life is to be invisible and to intercept things and route them over the Ziti network. But sometimes we do need to interact with it to control things like, for example, the client-side logging level. So the hotkey mechanism is the way we do that. And the hotkey that's in effect is configured on the HTTP agent. In this case, it's been told to tell all the client-side software that the Alt F12 is the keystroke sequence that will be the hotkey for this deploy. So I'm on a Mac, so if I hit function option F12, aka Alt F12, then this modal dialog will appear. And right now, the only advanced settings that we have is the client-side log level, which can go anywhere from silent, which is basically no logging, all the way up to trace, which is super verbose and most people probably wouldn't want to run with. So let me set it to silent, click save, and this is the UX flow that you'll notice. The browser runtime will notify you that it accepted your request, and it will then subsequently bounce your session to activate those controls. So if I was to open up the DevTools and go to the console, and then basically refresh the page. Since we're in silent mode, it doesn't mean completely silent. There's some things that I haven't yanked out that are still logging, but most of the ZBR, the Ziti BrowZer runtime, and the service worker traces that you're used to seeing over here are not present. If we wanted to go back and activate them because you needed to, for troubleshooting reasons, let's just pump it all the way back up to trace. Now watch what happens down here in the console. When the reload happens, you'll see a tremendous amount of chatter that wasn't there before. And you see all these colorful little chiclets over here talking about trace and debug warning error. All of the things are coming across, and you can see it's very, very, very chatty. And this is the type of level that you would rarely want to go to, primarily only for troubleshooting purposes. So as another demo, let's remove trace. Let's step down to debug. Again, on the Mac, function option F12. And let's change it from trace to debug. Hit save. Now when it reloads, you should no longer see these cyan colored trace messages. And sure enough, they're gone. Now we're running at debug levels. And finally, just to go full circle, let's go back to silent mode so that we're running with as little logging overhead as possible. And there we have it. Ultimately, some of these other messages that I haven't pulled out from this particular build will go away as well. And the logging overhead will be so minimal that you'll be running with as a high a performance level as possible. The other thing I want to show you in this video is down here in the cache. If we search for browser, you'll see that we have some new CI that's producing the Ziti BrowZer runtime artifact. We used to call this Ziti BrowZer runtime.js. And since we're now caching it for performance reasons, we have to be careful not to use the same name on a new deploy. If new software comes out and it's named the same thing, the browser stack will say, hey, I don't need to go back to the server to reload this particular blob of JS because I've already got it. That's a problem if the functionality that's in the Ziti BrowZer runtime has changed. We need to get the new one. So the new CI is using a scheme where the build will produce a hashed artifact name. If any character within the entire blob of JavaScript changes, this name with this hash at the end will change. So even though we are caching it, we will get the new one, and the entire stack will know to use the new one, and the old one will eventually time out and evaporate from the cache. So that's all I wanted to show you in this particular video. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. We'll discuss it. And until next time, thanks for watching.